Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. We are here to react to Torino nil Inter 2 with a heavily rotated lineup with a heavy rain, heavy downpour, which looked like it could have cancelled or postponed the game, but it didn't in the end. And we got the job done. We got the job done, and we are there putting pressure on Napoli, which is all we can do now, unfortunately, because of our situation in the league. Not unfortunate situation in the Champions League, of course. We are in the final. But in the league, because of us dropping too many points, especially the Bologna game and the games after that, that of course led to the moment where we are. This is all we can do now. And we'll see if Genoa has got anything. Do you guys have any hope in Genoa? Let me know in the comments down below. I have no hope in Genoa. I saw that Patrick Vieira, the Genoa coach, is putting in the backup goalkeeper. Don't know why. So that's already, it's given away my any type of hope that I had. And of course, Napoli are at home, so I don't have much hope. But this is all we can do. I know we are pretty much, I think, 95% of the fan base. We're pretty much all just, do we care about Serie A? All eyes on Champions League, all eyes on PSG. But this is what we've done all season, guys. Inzaghi, the board, whether they were right or not, they said we want to go for every single competition, and they're going to go for every single competition right until the end, and we're not going to give up on Serie A right until the end. Most of us probably would want to tell Inzaghi, play Primavera today, play all the young boys, play all the youth players. We don't care, just fully rotation. But again, we did rotate, but in the end, you saw where Inzaghi, as Eduardo, thank you very much for the donation and the comment. Inzaghi's fear of yellows, and in general, just, that means regardless of what was going to happen, these were going to be the substitutes. Barella was going to come on at some point, maybe not for certain player, but it was going to be Barella, Dumfries, Hakan coming on. At least we can say that we rested fully rested. I don't think we've ever got to do this, fully rest Lautaro and Thuram, which is fantastic news. They're both kind of suffering at the moment. I'm not sure if they were even in the squad, Lautaro and Thuram. Let me have a quick look. Thuram was in the squad, but Lautaro wasn't in the squad. So at least even Thuram was on the bench. At least he wasn't brought on. But apart from that, Inzaghi brought on all the starters. Even the Cherby made an appearance. Yeah, that's our coach. Love him or hate him, that's our coach. Even when you think this is the time to put on a youth player 2-0 up. Nope. This is not the time. Never for Inzaghi. But anyway, before I get into everything, thank you for coming through. Actually, I'm very surprised. 75 people live to watch this. I thought no one would have cared about Serie A anymore, especially away to Torino. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming through. And as always, my brother, my brate, Mattia reminds everyone, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel. Thank you for coming through. I really appreciate that. Taremi is back. Yeah, decent performance from Taremi. I think he deserved the goal today. That overhead kick, that was a beautiful attempt. And it would have been nice to see Taremi get a goal. Not the best performance from him. Probably one of his... Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a very high level of performances to pick from Taremi at Inter, but full 90 minutes, worked his ass off. And yeah, I think he did quite well. He deserved the goal today. He deserved the goal, especially for all his hard work. I would have wanted him to get a goal. But, of course, we got to talk about Nikola Zalewski. Wow, Nikola Zalewski, what a performance. So before the game, I know it looks all easy right now in terms of the lineup, but in terms of before the game, it was unsure whether Zalewski was going to play as a mezzala. There were rumors that Inzaghi was trying him out as a mezzala. So, in the 3-5-2 as a midfielder, as the Mkhitaryan, so to say, in the midfield. But actually, it ended up being a 3-4-2-1. So jot this down, guys. Jot this down. Write this down. 11th of May, Sunday, 11th of May, 2025, the day that Simone Inzaghi changed a formation from the beginning of the game. That has never. I mean, I'm happy to be corrected, but I'm pretty sure I do not remember Inzaghi. Oh, I've got the wrong background. I need to go back to the Serie A one. I do not remember Inzaghi playing another formation. I think the only time I ever remember it was the 3-5-1-1, and that was Inzaghi's first ever game at Inter, where we played Stefano Sensi. Yes, that name, Stefano Sensi behind the striker in a 3-5-1-1. I think it was Dzeko Sensi, if I remember correctly. That's the only other time I think I remember Inzaghi ever changing formation from the beginning, from the start of a game. Between a game, of course, we know in some moments of desperation and maybe injuries and things, he's changed it. But this is the first time ever that we played a 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3, and it looked kind of good. It looked decent, and it definitely helped Zalewski, who is, very much more of an attacking player by trade. It was good. I liked it. And, this is why we also say to Inzaghi, again, this is not going to be a moaning stream, for sure. But why not change things around sometimes? Why not try different formations? Why not give it a different look? Why not help players like Zalewski, players that have slightly more attacking characteristics, help them by coming in a bit more inside, runs in behind. Zalewski made so many runs in behind today that caused Torino so many troubles. It helps someone like Correa as well. He's never been a proper striker anyway. And yeah, just gives it a different look. I liked it. I like this formation. So it's really confusing why Inzaghi hasn't done it before, and we'll see whether he does it again. But to me, I liked it. I don't know what you guys. Let me know in the comments below if what did you make of the new formation test today. We should have rotated like this against Bologna, and Roma would have been on top now. I mean, no, come on, man. But like, you can't say that now. It would have been good to have some rotation for sure. But you can't say, like, this is the thing. When the substitutes now do play well, now they're good enough to play against Bologna. Now they're good enough to play against Bologna and Roma. But then when we bring them on in the last 20-30 minutes to hold on to a lead, then and they mess up, then they're not good enough. But I agree with Kamran here. Like, there has to be a little bit more of a balance at times where we should be able to bring in like players when we need them. But it's definitely not a certain science. Like, I've disagreed with you many times on this, Eminem, over the years. Sometimes you make it out as if we rotated and that's it, that we would have won. Like that was the reason why we didn't win. It was because we didn't rotate. I agree, because in terms of we saw how knackered and tired we look against Bologna and Roma, that some rotation would have been good to have for sure. But whether that would have guaranteed the wins and we would have been top, probably not. Probably not. I don't think so, my friend. But again, this is where it goes back to sometimes. I don't blame it all on the board. I know people were saying like, oh, Marotta in board should have bought him lots of players, and to a certain extent, again, that's also true that we should have given him a deeper squad, different types of players as well. But at the end of the day, I think Inzaghi, in the terms of his utilization of this team and the underperformance of some of these players when they've been coming in, like the Frattesis, like the Aslanis at times, when they've come in, have been, subpar. Taremi, Correa, of course, Arnautovic up until recently. It's definitely a multitude of factors that have led to us dropping the ball in the league. But I definitely don't think it's a certain science, as some people would say, to just rotate and that we would have been okay. Yahia has some faith. He has some faith that we will win. That Genoa will win 1-0. I really don't see that with Napoli at home. The best I can see is potentially a draw, a win away at Napoli. Now that Genoa have nothing to play for, I really, really struggle to see it. Of course, we'll get into all the Champions League final stuff as well. That is exciting coming up. Napoli will win all the games until the end. We lost to Scudetto. That is Matija Jovic's verdict. Boom. Hammer has been thrown down from Matija. And I probably don't really disagree with him on that. It's, now if Napoli don't lock in, if Antonio Conte doesn't lock in now, that's going to be very, very surprising. But yes, actually, Mesto, I agree with you. If there's one hope for me, it's actually Parma, even though they like lost the other day, a surprising loss that they had against the Empoli, but that's because they were down to 10 men for most of the game. Parma, who was still kind of in the limbo, you know, they are kind of safe, really. 2 games to go, 4 points clear, but you know, they still at least have something to play for out of all the teams that we saw. The troubles that they've been given, they gave trouble to Juve, they gave trouble to us, obviously. Under Kivo, they've been much better. If there was hope for me, it is Parma. Even like Lecce game, there was opportunities for Lecce because they were fighting for their life. Genoa, really not. No Leali, no Martin, no De Winter. Genoa coming from 3 straight losses against mid-table teams like Milan and Como. There you go. Giro Zeppelli killing all of our hopes and dreams. Thank you, brother. Yeah, PSG have been in the final as well, like Inter. Hey, 2 clean sheets. Hey, nice. You know, after that very bad spell where we had 2 losses in a row in Serie A, very good that we had 2 clean sheets in a row. Thank you, Eduardo, for bringing that positivity. Yes, Freddie, keeping the hope for sure. Shakir said in January, I said Tugan signing. Yeah, 100%, Shakir. No, January, you saw finally our January signing today scoring. But definitely, if we manage to get rid of someone like Taremi or mainly Correa, or Arnautovic, you know, just like whatever is the payoff, pay them off to get rid of them. Yes, it costs us money, but to try and make that push, like, and again, this is not saying Milan did the right thing, but you know, you saw what Milan did, bringing in João Felix, bringing in Santi Jimenez, spending 30 million plus that expensive loan for him. Not them again. I'm not saying that we should have signed João Felix or Santi Jimenez, but making that push to push the squad to the next level to help Inzaghi take this team all the way to the end. But again, the board decided not to, decided to save money, and here we are. But again, as I've been saying on the channel all season, and a lot of you guys also has said, as much as we criticize the squad, again, the squad has shown that it is competitive on all fronts. It's just, does it have you can't win it on all fronts. That's also something that I've been saying, and you guys have been saying, that yes, we can compete Supercoppa, Coppa Italia, Scudetto, Champions League, but at the end of the day, you have to choose 1 and maybe 2 max. 3, 4, there's no way. And the Club World Cup comes afterwards, so that doesn't really count. But, you know, we are here once again, speaking of a Champions League final. So obviously the squad and the board did something right. And of course, the coach has a lot of claim for the success of that. I believe Genoa can win today. Lukaku can play as another defender as he did with us in the decisive moments. Yeah. You'd hope so, but I think that we're past that stage now, Eduardo. Lukaku might go down as maybe one of the most underrated players this Serie A season. Lukaku definitely doesn't stand out in terms of his GA. Actually, he's got good assist numbers. I think he's like one of the top assisters in the league. But in terms of just his presence and what he's done for Napoli, he's probably been very, very underrated this year, of course, as much as it obviously annoys us to admit. Oh my God, yeah, Correa today was just, I mean, again, he runs around, does a bit of this, had a few shots today as well, but like, it's so frustrating to watch. Like, oh, I'm so done with him. I'm so glad that today, and then the news came out that confirming like Arnautovic, Correa, not part of Inter's future, especially Correa. Like, just please, I can't watch him anymore for Inter. I can't watch him anymore. Davide crying in the corner for not getting any formation change to help him in 2 season. Oh, as in Frattesi, yeah. I mean, but you know, that at the end has to be only him as well. You know, he's a midfielder at the end of the day. You know, we could maybe reinvent him as a striker, but at the end of the day, he's underperformed as a midfielder, which is his main role. Bobby Marley likes the formation switch. Oh, Footy Judge Mo in the house as well. Make sure you guys check him out. Of course, the legendary match watch-alongs from Mo, who really suffered watching Inter against Barca, and he thought that we bottled it. Like a lot of us did, we thought we bottled it. But Acerbi, you saw the reception Acerbi got today, by the way, guys. Like all the fans are really loving Acerbi at the moment. What a turnaround! Remember about like last year when the whole Juan Jesus racism thing was going on, and everyone was like, "Let's get rid of this guy as quickly as we can." And now he's like our most beloved player, and people are making video essays on his comeback from cancer and all these things, as they should, of course. What a story that is. Anyway, Mo says, I want to ask a question for the people say we don't have a bench. This game proves it does. It does. Like this is Joe Mo. I agree with your point on for many years now. Stefan De Vrij. How many teams in Serie A does Stefan De Vrij as a centre back start for? Pretty much every team in Serie A. Can we say that, guys? Does Stefan De Vrij start for pretty much every team in Serie A? I think so. I think he starts, or you could say maybe style of play or different things, but I think he starts for pretty much every team in Serie A, or if not, most teams in Serie A. Pep Martinez, our goalkeeper today, you saw how good he was. What a save! We'll get into it. How many teams in Serie A does he get in? Most teams in Serie A, I would say. Obviously, maybe not. Obviously, not Inter. Not Magnan with Milan. But then afterwards, you can make a claim from any other teams in Serie A where Pep Martinez can start. Okay, Darmian now at his age, but he's a reliable guy. That again, how many teams is in Serie A? He probably still starts for a lot of teams in Serie A. Carlos Augusto in this form, he's better than Di Marco, and that's our backup. Actually, yeah, let me just get the team up just for like that visual help for me. Aslani, yeah, there you go. Maybe you could say these more of like at the moment from what he's showing, a lower table player, but again, used to be a starter for Empoli. I think he could start for teams higher than Empoli. But Zielinski definitely he can start for a lot of starting midfields in Serie A. It's the strikers now. That's what we get with Bisek definitely. The improvement that he's had in a 3 at the back formation. I would also like to see him tested out in a 2 at the back formation, but a 4 at the back. But Bisek can start for a lot of Serie A teams, higher table Serie A teams. Obviously, we don't need to speak about Bastoni. That's talking about world teams. He can start for any team in the world. It's the strikers, really. I mean, but in theory, a guy like Mehdi Taremi, Milan wanted to sign him last year when he wasn't a free agent. I think he can start. He could start. I think, I guess, the port of Mehdi Taremi, that guy can start ahead of Tati Castellanos of Lazio. I think he can start ahead of a lot of Serie A strikers as well. Of course, that's where it comes, where he's really underperformed. Correa, let's forget about Correa. These are our backups. This is definitely not that bad of a backup team that a lot of Interisti make out to be. That poor Inzaghi, he's not been given the backups. These exact backups helped us a lot last year. Frattesi as well. Frattesi, you saw the teams that he's linked with. Watch where Frattesi ends up this summer. As Mourinho would say, where they play, if they play, he will end up at a good Serie A team or wherever he ends up, Frattesi. But he's underperformed most of the time when he's a starter. So that's where it comes to. I think a lot of these guys are decent backups. I think the one that we can say is Aslani. Aslani is the one that hasn't performed to the level that we need in that position. But everyone else, I think we can say that they are good enough players for Inter. The performance hasn't been there. Now let me continue. This summer, definitely there has to be no excuses, Bobby Marley. I'm going to show it as well. Every summer, I make the Excel sheet, and the Excel sheet is usually a little bit negative, and it shows you guys, calma, guys, let's be realistic. Let's not, go too far. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to make the breakdown of the costs and the improvement in revenues and the profits that we're going to make this summer. You're not going to hear from me like, guys, you shouldn't ask too much. You got to be realistic. This summer, Oak Tree, Marotta, Ausilio, they have to deliver a Spenny. And again, Spenny transfer market doesn't necessarily mean that it's a positive thing and it's a good thing, it's going to help us. But the money is there. And if the player and the scouting and the The requests from Inzaghi are there. They need to be made. The squad needs to be improved, and definitely the two striker positions need to be improved upon. The backup striker, the backup CDM, the longer term centre back perhaps position as well. Definitely the right wing back position, the Darmian replacement. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed. And this summer we have money to address that, and there is no excuses, and I don't want to hear excuses from Oak Tree and the board this summer. Buy Zalewski, loan Aslani. Okay, let's get into it now. The match kind of analysis. Zalewski, I think 7 million euros is the redemption fee. 6 million, 7 million euros. Get that transaction. Complete that transaction. Put the card contactless. Scan the phone. 7 million. I mean, they can probably do that contactless as well. 7 million in footballing terms is nothing. You can do that contactless transaction there. PayPal, quick one, because Zalewski, even this is the thing. So 7 million euros. This is even if you don't know where you're gonna play him, even if you don't think he's like gonna be your starting left wing back or right wing back, or now your second forward or whatever position, Mezzala. It just makes sense. It just makes sense because this is just a good player, very undervalued because of a bad year or so at Roma. Easy money to be flipped as well. I think you can make easy money. I think you can easily sell Zalewski for double the money if you give him a few more minutes. And of course, he's pretty much a starter for Poland most of the time. I think you can easily double your money with someone like Zalewski, regardless. But the question is, does Inzaghi trust him as a wing back? So today, he played him in a different position. And let me show you on SofaScore his position. So it definitely was not a Mezzala position. Let me show you the average positions. He was definitely playing. Look at that, how high he was playing. So it was kind of like Correa, Zalewski in behind Taremi. Look how high Augusto was playing as well. But you can see Zalewski also was coming deep. So let me find the interview from Inzaghi who talked about it. Did I miss it? Oh yeah, here it is. So they asked him before the game. So Zalewski position, he'll move up near Taremi with Correa. He's a player of absolute quality. He'll play a great game. 3-4-3, it could be. He'll also drop down to play as a midfielder, but we didn't have any other players to start in that area. So it was kind of like a hybrid role. It's very interesting. And it's nice to see Inzaghi having a bit of flexibility like that because he doesn't show it that often. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong one. But yeah, you can see he still was moving into deeper areas to come and pick up the ball. So he was kind of playing like a hybrid role. So attacking, it was definitely a 3-4-2-1, picking up these positions high up here. But then defending as well, when we were off the ball, he was coming in to help Zielinski and Aslani. So it was kind of like a hybrid role today, which you kind of see. I mean, if you look at average positions when Frattesi plays, especially when he does his games where he's playing, when he has like 10 touches a game, a lot of the time, if you look at the average position, it does look like this, where he looks like he's one of the strikers because he runs up so much. But the thing with Zalewski is that he looks very comfortable in those positions as well. He's able to pick up the ball, from deeper, run with it, or make those runs in behind. And he was doing that. He was making those runs in behind a lot here. Very, very good game from him. And I think, let's have a look at some stats. 26 out of 29 passes, 3 out of 3 long balls, only lost possession 7 times. Yeah, good performance from him. 62 minutes, a goal. I think he was my man of the match. They didn't show up. The strongest depth didn't show up when it matters most. You think we should keep Zalewski? Yeah. As I said, 7 million euros, easy. If all these backups played on another team, we would think they were pretty decent players. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like all that. Like I remember when Arnautovic was at Bologna. For some people want to deny it. I remember being here on live streams and people commenting, we should sign Arnautovic as a backup because he was killing us when he used to play for Bologna. A lot of these players, I know. And when we signed Taremi as well, I mean, I was one of them as well. I thought we signed a fantastic player. I thought, wow, free agent Taremi. Yes, he's a bit older. Portuguese league, there's a bit of that tax, but in theory, a lot of these players should be good enough for the level that we need. The fact that they haven't delivered, that's different. They haven't delivered. That should be the conversation, that they haven't delivered, not that Inzaghi is been given like a bad team in Serie A as well. What we're talking about is Serie A. When we're talking about European level, that's different. We know what we're competing against, the budgets and the salaries that we're competing against. In terms of that, Inzaghi has been definitely, he's been given not in a good enough team. And we know in terms of age profile, numbers, like we need more energy, more athleticism in this team. But then it goes back to we know Inzaghi now. We've had him for 4 years, guys, 4 seasons. He wants to have a Matteo Darmian in his team. He wants to have the experienced 35, 36-year-old there. He wants to have Stefan de Vrij and Acerbi as his linchpins at the back. He wants to have the Carlos Augusto as the guy who's not so attacking, but more of a solid left wing back. He wants to have the experienced Taremis and the Arnautovic's to back up Lautaro and Thuram. Of course, a lot of it is given due to budget, due to salary ceiling and everything related to that. But let's see. Again, this is the summer now. We can judge. We can judge now this summer. Was it Inzaghi's demands that we've created this kind of old team, or is it the board? Now we're gonna see. Now we're gonna see, especially with Oak Tree in charge, where they want to rejuvenate the squad, and we know Marotta and Ausilio have said they want to rejuvenate the squad. But let's see. This is going to be the summer. It's going to be a very, very interesting summer to judge. Whether Zalewski should be moved to midfield, that's an interesting conversation to have. It's a position that he used to play at youth level, so it's not something that Inzaghi would be reinventing him in or discovering him in. He, in the Roma youth system, he played a lot as a midfielder and as an attacking midfielder, so centrally. And then obviously, when Mourinho in his Roma team, the gap that he saw that he could play in was as a wing back, because he was a winger / attacking midfielder. But maybe down the line he could do it. But you can see he's definitely very useful in the final third. Midfield, it becomes different. It becomes about your footballing IQ, your movement, your reading of the game, off the ball, chasing back, tracking back, tackling, passing, clean touches, clean, decision making is very different. But in terms of, it could definitely be like a ball carrying midfielder, center midfielder for sure, but could he make the transition? I think he's given us definitely a little sight that there's potential there for him to make that. And this is why I think we should sign him. He's got that versatility. You can play Zalewski here where he played today, maybe as a Mezzala. Yeah, that could be an experiment, but mainly, left wing back and right wing back. That is the versatility that he offers, Zalewski. He was great. Bobby Marley says, running with the ball, making his passes, and like other center mids. Yeah, so let's get into his goal. Like, it was lovely. It was really, really lovely. Sorry for the blurry screenshot on this one. So ball comes in. So again, he's making the run in behind, stretching the defense, which we don't see too much from our other midfielders. This is not a run that Mkhitaryan would be making. Frattesi would probably make it, but not on this side. He'd probably make it on the other side. But this is where Zalewski's different. Chops back, lovely turn, first touch to turn, gets past the defender, and then beautiful, beautiful shot to curl it into the far post past Milinkovic-Savic, who is a massive goalkeeper. And the fact that he is at full stretch, trying his best to get that, and he's nowhere near it, shows you the quality of the finish as well. Right in the bottom corner. Fantastic goal. The kind of individual quality and brilliance that we've been missing, right? Probably since Ivan Perisic has left from that, from that wing. This is reminding me of Ivan Perisic on this team. Lovely, lovely goal. Reddy coming in, defending Aslani, of course, his Albanian boy. Solid midfielder, not terrible, not amazing, but you can rely on him in this game. The problem with subs is the attack. Reddy is I think today is not the game to judge him on. Today he was good. Today he was reliable. The games where he hasn't been reliable are gone now. I'm not going to sit here and try to mention each one. But as a substitute, well, actually, when you think about it, it's a nuanced conversation, because actually, as a starter, I think I saw someone tweet this on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure it might be true. But as a starter, I think I don't think we've lost a game with Aslani as a starter. I think someone tweeted that in Serie A, when Aslani has started, we haven't lost a game. So that shows you the issue with Aslani is when he comes on as a substitute, which is where we see his issues. So we bring him on, maybe we're leading, or maybe we need a goal, or we're trying to or we're drawing or something. Then we need him to defend, or we need him to track runners and things like that. This is where his weakness comes in. His physical and defensive weaknesses come to light in that position. But he's definitely not. Yeah, he's definitely part of the issue already. I disagree with the fact that I agree that there's people with agendas, and I don't know if there's a few big Aslani haters in the chat. I don't know if they're here. Language Tours, one of the most famous ones, of course. But the issue is, I think, with him is he's not. If he showed himself to be reliable enough, then he would have won Inzaghi's trust to start in bigger games. But the issue is he doesn't, and then his substitute appearances are so bad sometimes. And you've seen it recently already. Who came on against Barcelona in that position? It was Zalewski. And the fact that Zalewski has climbed the rankings in terms of that CDM position at times when we've needed him over him, that shows you that he hasn't won over either Inzaghi for that. But again, on Aslani, I've always said I think he needs to be loaned out. I think and the Ricci really impressed that much today as a midfielder. I think Samuel Ricci is an Aslani who has had time to play. I keep saying this. Aslani needs 2,000, 3,000 minutes a season under his legs at a Serie A level as a certain starter, to make mistakes, to make good performances, to make average performances. Just keep going. Play start 35 games a season. And I think he can be a decent player. But at Inter, he can't do that. So we need to get someone in that's ready now, more ready than Aslani, and loan him out. But if an offer comes, also get rid, of course, if the right offer comes across. Yeah, we need Alexis Sanchez's, more Zalewski's. That's a good shout. Definitely. I think, the striker situation is definitely one of the big issues. Oh yeah, Luca, no, sorry. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it a lot. Definitely, I'm not going to be ungrateful like that. Thank you very much. Very, very generous donation. I really, really do appreciate it, and I agree with your statement there. By Zalewski, loan Aslani. Yeah, I agree with Bobby Marley. Only Barella would attempt that in our squad. Yeah. Chris says, if you've been watching Shams for some years, you know my stance on Di Marco, and it must be said because it has been ignored. He had dramatically outplayed Augusto against Barcelona defensively. Did he? Nah, you can't be serious on this one, Chris. I think both of them, to be honest, struggled. Augusto came on in the second half, again in the first leg, and he did better because, it was, tiring legs of Barcelona maybe, but he did better in that one. In the second leg, Lamine was causing them trouble, and Di Marco was subbed up at the 55th minute. And Chris, unfortunately, the boy Di Marco, the Lord, the God has given him a beautiful left foot, but he just hasn't given him the athleticism and the stamina that you need, especially in modern football. I think in the 90s, early 2000s, even the early 2010s, Di Marco, even with his shortcomings, would have been completely fine. But right now, he really comes exposed at times with his lack of running ability. Not that it's to me, I'm going to be technique over athletic ability all the time, and But when he's not fully, like, you can tell there's something wrong with DiMarco at the moment. He doesn't look fully fit. And I don't know what game you watched, Chris. I really disagree that he dramatically outplayed Augusto defensively, because he got subbed off at the 55th minute. But yeah, Augusto in that second leg didn't do great defensively either. I'll give you that. But yeah, both legs for sure not. We need players who understand their roles. But this is the thing, Bobby Marley. Now, this works with Zalewski right now because he's coming off 2 bad season or 1.5 bad season at Roma, where he's still young. Zalewski, where is he? 23. Quick look. 23, 24. Yeah, 23. Coming off back some bad season. He's got, he's a redemption. His contract is expiring at Roma. They weren't renewing it, so yeah, that 1 year. So this is it now for Zalewski. He's like, this is, he has to make. So he understood that he's coming in as a substitute. That's the you have to put it into context why Zalewski understands his role. But if he starts playing like this, Bobby Marley, he's also going to be like Fratesi. He's going to be like, I'm starting for Poland. Say starting for Poland. I'm picking up form. I'm playing better than some of these other guys. He could be saying like, I've played better than Correa, as in a lot of these other backup guys that you've been playing up front. Why, you can start doing this. So this is the thing. Once a player starts playing well, and Fratesi last season, played better than he has this year, that's when you start demanding time. Quite rightly, you're all ambitious young footballers, young athletes. Nah, I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. So, but nah, I watched it. I mean, I was even in my reaction. Maybe it was in the heat of the moment. I will definitely go back and rewatch this. That is definitely a game that I think all of us Interisti would love to go and rewatch whenever we get a chance. So I will go back and rewatch it. But I remember, in my reaction, I'm like, oh, Yamal has started again. And then what DiMarco did better this time was that he fouled him. He started fouling him more, which he wasn't doing in the first leg. But that's about it, Chris. And then why would Inzaghi sub him off at the 55th minute if he was doing so well, Chris? That would be my question to you. Unless he was on a yellow card that I don't remember. Zalewski can be a top player. I don't know about top, but he's definitely got, a few very interesting attributes that the Inter team definitely doesn't have. In terms of top, I mean, I think he can definitely improve his output. I think he's got the ability, like you saw today, that goal he scored, that is very, top drawer level to score a goal like that. But that has always been his issue for Poland and Roma, is like he gets into these positions, but actually, today he played in a much more attacking position. As a wing back, it's difficult to get into these positions. But even when as a wing back, when he gets into these positions, his output in terms of goals and assists was very low, very, very low. But you see the potential. Like he can get past the player and put a cross in. His crossing isn't too bad. He's got a good right foot. He can even cross with a left foot. Because he played more centrally as a youngster, you can see he's got an eye for a pass, even like nice through balls. You can see again today we're mentioning maybe he's a potential of a center midfielder, maybe down the line. I think, there's makings of a good player there for sure. Whether it's a top player, I'm not really sure about that. But, he's got good base. Athletically is a good base, good pace, good running, good stamina. He's quite a feisty guy as well. He's got a good determination about him. I can see that a little Roman feistiness in him. Top player, I don't know. But, as I said, that's what I'm saying. 7 million option. I think you can double or triple your money very easily with this guy. On another note, I was on the Fratesi train, but after the Champions League goal, we have to keep him calm by a clutch. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting argument, but again, Alex, it's the clutch is different. The clutch is definitely important, but usefulness to Inzaghi's system, I think, is also very important. The issue with Fratesi is, again, I always say this: I want a Fratesi in this team, not Fratesi specifically, but a Fratesi. I think any team needs a Fratesi in the team, a guy that can come on, cause chaos, has got an eye for a goal, smells goals, which is quite rare. But you need to give something else as well, Alex. The issue with Frattesi is he doesn't want to stay as a backup. He has already said that he doesn't want to stay as a backup. In January, it just didn't, work out, and then I think it just made sense for all parties for him to stay. But keeping an unhappy player is, you don't want to keep an unhappy player. Marotta never keeps unhappy players at his clubs. If a player asks for a move, whether it was Juventus or Inter, he sells them. So that's that. The issue, first of all, comes from the player side. The second issue is, that usefulness. He hasn't completed. He hasn't rounded his game as we thought he could. We thought, oh yeah, he's coming to us. Inzaghi, great coach, develop players. That hasn't happened. He hasn't developed one bit. His play, all round play. And he's at age. If you're going to sell him at 25 years of age, this is peak value right now as a substitute that we can get for him, and get someone that's more suited to the system. Like you're getting swayed by the goal. The clutch thing is definitely a nice selling point. But again, the clutch is because he's able to cause those. He's got a sniff of the goal. But we've seen recently, if you saw the clips, Sucic has been scoring some goals recently. Again, he's coming in potentially to be the replacement. He's come in to a nice few bits of goals, and he has the potential to become a player like Frattesi, but maybe having a little bit more all-round game to him, to what he can offer Inzaghi. So to me, I'm not getting swayed by the clutch goals. It's just so nice, but to me, if that 30+ million offer comes, I think we have to find someone that suits Inzaghi's play a bit more. It reminded me of Caramo's goal against Bologna. Oh, good comparison. Yeah, that's a good comparison. He scored like a curler as well, didn't he? From like the edge of the area. Very, very good. So it looks like goal for Genoa. Thank you for updating us here, and Joshua. Goal for Genoa and Lobotka injury. Ooh, Patrick Vieira, what are you cooking for me? Uncle Pat. And of course, if you're a younger Interista, you might not know this, but Patrick Vieira was an Inter player. We signed him from Juve when Juve got the whole Calciopoli scandal happened and they got relegated to Serie B. Patrick Vieira, Uncle Pat, one of the greatest midfielders of the Premier League of all time, was decent for us, but he was an Inter player. He was an Inter for what, 4 years, 5 years? Was even at Milan in his at the start of his career. So yeah, he did the whole Milan, Juve, and Inter. So Uncle Pat, what have you got for me? What are you cooking for me, Uncle Pat? Let's have a look at the score. Oh no, he got cancelled. Oh guys, Ellie, you could have commented that as well, guys. You got me excited for no reason. Oh, it must have been called off. What was it? Oh, it doesn't even come up on the highlights here. Or did it? It didn't even come in the highlights here. Okay, so Billy Gilmore's just come on for Lobotka. Yeah. But yeah, this lineup gives me nothing. It gives me no hope, this lineup. It's giving me nothing. 4-4-2 apparently for Conte, but it's going to be one of those hybrid formations probably. Anyway, getting back to the match highlights. Yeah, Zalewski. Speaking of Zalewski, he was cooking, even coming in deeper in midfield. So this is where you see maybe there is potential for Zalewski to become a midfielder at some point. Oh, Napoli scored. Okay, now I don't want updates anymore. I'm not interested. As I said, I didn't have any hope in this. It was only some of guys that were maybe trolling me in there. But yeah. No, guys, honestly, don't comment because I have no hope in this game anyway. So a couple of guys gave me fake hope. Uncle Pat, he's got nothing for me. Yeah, Yeah, not a lot of players had that imposing physicality midfield, but it wasn't just physicality; it was technical as well. It was physique plus technique. Very very complete midfielder. Oh, Lukaku. Yeah, it's gonna be embarrassing, guys. Those things that we were talking about at the beginning of the season. Remember, I mean, I think Lautaro now is outscored Lukaku at least, so that at least that embarrassment's over because there was one point that Lukaku was outscoring him. That was going to be embarrassing, but yeah, we were saying like, imagine Lukaku winning this. Bloody hell! Watching that guy celebrate on Scudetto on our head top is going to be painful. But of course, if we win, big ears, and I have got big ears. If we win the big ears, which is the other name for the Champions League trophy, then it doesn't matter. Lukaku can have the Scudetto. But yeah, going back to Zalewski, beautiful ball into Darmian into space. And Darmian here probably should have scored or at least made something out of it because I think he ended up doing like a cross come shot type thing where he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. And Messina cleared off the line, but Taremi was there for the cutback if he wanted. But he probably could have just scored himself. Also, I think it wasn't going in, but Messina cleared it off the line. And then, as we said, Pep Martinez. Wow, what a save this was from this header! Fantastic. If you haven't seen it, try to have a look at it. Hopefully, in the highlights package, Serie A put it in because this deserved its highlight. It was an amazing save from Pep Martinez. Oh yeah, this is the overhead attempt from Taremi. I really wish Taremi got his goal today. He deserved it, and would have been nice, to give him some confidence going into the last few weeks of the season. Imagine bringing him on or starting him in the next few games against Lazio and Como, or even in the Champions League final if we need him. We need everyone, guys. We need everyone. Everyone, even if they're a meme, we're gonna need every single player this to the end of the season. You never know who comes up trumps for us by the end of the season, guys. And yeah, this was a great attempt from Taremi, but unfortunately, goalkeeper saved it. But Taremi wins the penalty. Clear penalty, goes past Milinkovic-Savic, brought down, hurt himself as well, but luckily it wasn't a serious injury. He was down for a while though. Taremi wins it. And Aslani steps up. And the interesting thing about Aslani, he seems like he's overtaken Zielinski in terms of the penalty taking, because you remember Zielinski used to take penalties a lot for Napoli. Of course, he scored those two against Juve, remember? And I think Inzaghi said at that time, it was like, if Hakan's not on the pitch, the penalty takers will be Zielinski, Lautaro, and I think it was like in that order. But it looks like if Aslani's on the pitch, he is the penalty taker, because he took one last time, scored. He took one again today when Zielinski is on the pitch, and wrong-footed Milinkovic-Savic, very ice cool penalty, and deserved goal. Yeah, good performance today from Aslani. The conditions weren't great today. That's what this win. I'm very happy with this win because it wasn't easy conditions today. The match at one point, the pitch was really waterlogged. It looked like the match was going to be suspended. The match was delayed. The halftime break was like 10-15 minutes longer than it would have been normally because of the rain. They were testing it out, so it wasn't great conditions to play in. So putting in a performance like this with rotation, I'm quite impressed with Inter, and it is really frustrating that we can do this with a rotated lineup. But now, after everything is all said and done, it feels like now we can bloody put in a performance like this. But yeah, Aslani, one of his better performances this season for sure as a starter. Kept the ball, sprayed around, and in the end, at the end, actually, he also 107 accurate long balls. One of the things that actually saved us right at the end was him being a little bit soft, because Torino scored. Mazzina scored an amazing overhead kick, but because he fouled Aslani in the build-up to it, and it was quite a soft foul, to be honest. He shoved him, but it was like, good thing that Aslani is a little bit soft in things like that. That helped us for once, and the goal got cancelled because of a foul. But aside from that, I think he did pretty well. He did pretty well today, Aslani. I was impressed by Christian, and Zielinski was okay next to him. kept the neat and tidy. Only misplaced one pass, but nothing really of note. But again, it's good to have him back fit. Augusto was making some good runs in behind, trying to spread the pitch. He did decent. He was okay. Bastoni got the assist for the Zalewski goal. Bit of a stat pad assist, to be fair. Taremi overall had a very good performance. Worked very, very hard. Worked his socks off today. Tried to link up. He tried to help Correa score 4 out of 4. Jules won. Correa should have maybe scored as well. He had a few chances. He had this one here. Denzel came on, gave him a lovely assist. Correa shoots it straight at Milinkovic-Savic. And then there was another one, a header from quite close to the goalkeeper, but he hits it straight at the goalkeeper. So Correa should have had a goal really today. He had 2 massive opportunities. Darmian was decent. Of course, not anything to shout about going forward, but was decent. Did his job as always. And De Vrij, very reliable as always. Bisek was decent. There was one point where he got beaten by Elmas and he got his yellow card. But apart from that, he was okay. And then, the substitutes were all decent as well. Just, Denzel was good. Di Marco was okay. Hakan was a bit shaky, but one thing Hakan was amazing. One amazing moment that he had was this tackle on Vlasic. Coming back, sliding, clean ball, lovely, no foul, fantastic. Apart from that, he was a little bit shaky, as we know, as a Mezzala, because then Inter played as a 3-5-2. He wasn't that great, to be honest. When will I start thinking about PSG? This is not the stream for Shakir, but we've got weeks coming up now where we'll be talking about PSG. But if you guys want to talk about it, we can talk about it. They're obviously they've already won Ligue 1. They get to rotate a lot more in Ligue 1 in the league now. They can start almost resting players in preparation for the Champions League. I'll probably start tuning into some games of PSG in the coming weeks and days just to check them out a little bit more, because I've only watched them in Champions League. Really, I haven't watched them in Liga, so I'm gonna have to try and tune in to just see. But it's probably not really good games to tune in right now because they're gonna rotate a lot. It's probably not, and they've already won the league. It's not very good sample size to look at right now. Probably have to go back, watch some of their older games, to be honest. Maybe some Marseille games, some of their bigger games in Liga. Maybe it's a make-a-wish one since he's getting kicked out. Aslani. No, I mean, if it was make-a-wish, they wouldn't be giving them, as I'm saying, he's got them back-to-back now. Back-to-back penalties for Aslani. Fabrizio just tweeted out, we're officially triggering Zalewski's buy option. That's good. It doesn't make sense. Even if, as I said, even if you're not going to use him, you should be able to flip this guy for more money than 7 million for sure. Nico Ravella is a vice chala. Now, these are like, now this is kind of like fantasy football. You're coming to, Nico Ravella is going to cost you at least 30 million from Lazio. And does he want to, first you're going to have to convince him to come as a substitute. And, that's the, even if you have money, this is things that are very hard to make happen because you have to have, real juice to be able to pull someone like that and say, like, you're even starting to start games for Italy now, but now you're gonna come and be a backup. But actually, if you sign like someone like Rovella, the way Hakan's played this season, I'll be real. I think that Hakan position's up for grabs. I think the Hakan position is up for grabs. If someone comes in with the right hunger and mentality to be able to want it, to take it, I think they can do what Hakan did to Brozovic. We've seen it happen. Hakan took that position from Brozovic, and it wasn't even his position. But Inzaghi preferred him to Brozovic in that position. And that ended up being because of Brozovic's high salary and stuff that Inter needed to sell him. I think similar thing could happen to Hakan. He's got a very high salary, 6.5 million net. I've not been too impressed with his performances this season, I'll be real. And his injury issues have concerned me. So, yeah. And yeah. I mean, it's a Lotito. I would have said 30 minimum, mister, but obviously Lotito is going to push it way more than that. So that's not realistic at all. Um, yeah. SMSA, man, that is a player that I would have loved to see at Inter, but I think once you get that Saudi money, it's very difficult to come back. You're gonna have to accept your salary being not even halved, Chris, quartered, maybe even more than that, because the money they earn there, tax free, is ridiculous. So convincing players to come back is really like, unless things are really going bad there and their wife is unhappy, their kids are unhappy in Saudi, and they're just like, they just can't be asked anymore. They want to come back. But how much hunger? And again, do you want to bring back players from Saudi? I think once a player goes to Saudi, I think, is the hunger really there anymore? Is the sharpness there anymore? Is the your physicality levels there anymore? I think if someone comes back from Saudi, is more like, now he wants to enjoy back his life in like maybe his home country or closer to his home country. I think it's once a guy goes, once these players go to Saudi, it's like you don't really want to bring them back, depending on their age. Like at what age they go. But yeah, like, how are you guys feeling? I mean, where we are a few weeks away from the PSG game. I'm going to finish up here. Man of the match for me is Nikola Zalewski, but yeah, close second, probably Aslani, Taremi. Yeah, good performances all around, to be fair, in this rotated team. Even Correa, thinking back now, it was frustrating to watch, but actually his overall performance wasn't too bad. The PSG game, how are you guys feeling? 3 weeks away right now. 3 weeks away. Yeah. The rotated lineup was pretty good. Yeah, as I said, guys, I'm not really interested in that game. I have no hope. Like, I don't even want to see the comments about that game. I'm not interested. Nico Paz, realistic. I think even more right now, because it looks like Fabregas might go to Leverkusen as to be their coach. So I think now with Fabregas gone, it depends. Again, now it depends who Como get, because obviously Como have the money to spend. That could be potentially something that convinces Nico Paz. But I think it's always been the thing with Nico Paz is not even about what Inter and Como is Real Madrid. Do Real Madrid want to bring him back? That's the question. If Real Madrid want to bring him back, then that's it. They're going to bring him back. Nico Paz is obviously going to want to go to Real Madrid. New coach, Xabi Alonso. Different system might fit Nico Paz, 3-4-2-1. He doesn't play like a traditional 4-3-3. Maybe he doesn't want to be a Mezzala yet. The Mezzala conversion isn't guaranteed yet. Fabregas has said they've tested him out there in their formation. You could say he picks up those positions at times, but maybe he doesn't want to become a Mezzala yet. He wants to be an attacking midfielder. And in Xabi Alonso's system at Real Madrid, maybe that could suit him. So that's the question, really. It is realistic, but if Real Madrid come, then that's the end of it. If Real Madrid want him, that's that. And in that depends how you mean it. I think Arda Güler is a better talent than Paz. I think Arda Güler's left foot, the gift that he's been given from the Almighty, is more supreme, more pure talent, Arda. But for Inter, in terms of his physicality, running ability, ball carrying, dribbling, passing, and everything, that whole round potential centre midfielder fit, Nico Paz is better than Arda Güler. Yeah. Okay, that's what you meant as well. We'll get a hair transfer for next season. I think he just needs to go zero. And I appreciate players who just rock the, if you're bold and just rock it. Just rock because it's been going on for a while. It's not just this season. He's been going bold for a lot of time. Matthias said SMS stopped playing for the Serbian national team as soon as he went to Saudi. That tells you everything you need. So there you go. I think it's different. If you go for younger, what was that guy that went, like, that Bento, the goalkeeper that went there? He is still quite in his early 20s. You can bring a guy back like that who's like, yeah, maybe I made a mistake. I went there too early, but now I've got the hunger that I want to make it in Europe. Arnautovic went to China. I remember when he was like, after Stoke City or after West Ham? Went there for like a year or 2 years, and then he came back to Bologna, later on, and still, did well for them. Like, it can happen. It can work. But yeah, I'm not really. I don't really think it's a good idea to get those types of players. PSG lack height like Barca. Yeah, that's definitely one thing that we've got over them, similar to Barca. Outside of what? Marquinhos, Pacho, the two centre backs. Donnarumma obviously was massive. The midfield is tiny. Joao Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz is a bit taller, but Zaire Emery. The whole team is not that tall. Hakimi is kind of tall, but he's not really very good in the air. Nuno Mendes is decent. But yeah, the striker, obviously, Dembele, Doué, and Kvara, like it's not a very, very tall team at all. We should be making mincemeat of them like we did Barcelona in set pieces. For sure. I'm looking forward to it. I think we have got very, very good opportunities against PSG. And yeah, this is really the nightmare situation that we gave Man City, the old club, their first Champions League ever, and now we're playing against the other famous oil club, which is, of course, PSG. Are we going to give them the first Champions League in history? That is going to keep us up at night. I can see the comments that are saying Genoa goal. You guys better not be trolling me. I'm going to go check now. Because you trolled me last time. And it is, excuse me, TBD. But again, I don't really have much hope. I'll celebrate. Come on, Patrick Vieira, let's do this. But I'm gonna just say that I expect nothing. In general, I'm gonna lose, and maybe that works. But yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. Shakir is positive about the PSG game. And yeah, of course, we don't want to repeat what Juve did. Like, yeah, those are the nightmare scenarios right now. It's like gifting PSG their first ever Champions League as an oil club, like we did to Man City, and becoming basically like Juve and having the goal, the song, the come mai, la Champions League tu non la vinci mai, which is, I love to sing that at the stadium, is my favorite song, which obviously makes fun of Juve for not winning the Champions League. The song says, oh why, the Champions League you'll never win, oh why, basically, kind of, because of all the finals that Juve went to over the years and they never win it. But that song, after two finals, would just become, I think I would do that as a Juve fan. I would just reappropriate that. I would reappropriate that song and sing it to Inter, because, yeah, then it would just become synonymous with bottling Champions League finals. So a lot of nightmare scenarios to contend with that will send our blood pressure through the roof. But yeah, we'll keep talking about the PSG game as things go on, because obviously that's what we're thinking about now, right, guys? Who cares about Serie A? But no, we do care about Serie A, and hopefully Genoa can do something. Hope remains. We remain right near to Napoli, glued to them, hoping for a slip up. That's all we can do. But yes, thank you everyone that came through today. 100 people here. Hope every single one of you has left a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Torino 0, Inter 2. We go on. Serie A dream. At least it's not washed away. I think today we could have seen all the headlines, right? Of rain on Inter's parade, or Inter's Scudetto dream washed off because of the the whole rain situation. But actually it didn't, so that's good. We keep going. Next up we have Lazio, then we have Como. Serie A season is over, but we keep going. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter. Keep a lookout on the channel. Oh yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be on like a video. I'm doing a video. I'm going to be doing like a video of like a combined 11 PSG versus Inter. Not on my channel. It's going to be on the Sport Bible, if you ever heard of Sport Bible channel. So I don't know when that video actually will come out. I think it's not going to come out until like the week before the Champions League final. But yeah, something good that's come out of this content creation recently, little opportunity. So I appreciate all of you for that, for the support on this channel. Sometimes cool things like this also happen. So I get to go down to London tomorrow to do that. But yeah, hopefully Genoa keep up the pressure against Napoli now. See you on the next one. Ciao ragazzi, always, Forza Inter.